I'm really scared right now. This cake, because it's so hot in here, like all the frosting is like, can you turn up the AC? It's on max. I'm living in a nightmare. Hey guys, it's Katie, and I love cooking on a budget. And today we are celebrating Tasty's 5th birthday! Whee! We made it! And what better way to celebrate than to get a cake? Unfortunately, the cake I want is this rainbow explosion cake that's from the Flower Shop in New York City, and it is $150. We don't have that kind of money. So, I'm gonna show you today how to make a version of that cake for only $20. I already got my groceries. It took a lot of time. I had to go to multiple stores, but it was totally worth it because the total came out to $20.17. And I'm only gonna be using one pantry staple freebie today, which is salt. So, with all that said, why don't we get into it and we'll see how this turns out. Let's hope it's a piece of cake. Oh my God. Good thing Chris isn't here to hear that. So first thing we're gonna do is make a very basic vanilla cake. We're gonna start out with some all-purpose flour, some baking powder, and my freebie, salt. And then you'll whisk that together. All right, that looks good. Now we're gonna move on to our wet ingredients. So you need a much bigger bowl for this. We're gonna combine a lot of butter, 3 sticks, and some sugar. And then you're gonna mix this for about 5 to 6 minutes until it's super light and fluffy. Now we're gonna add our eggs. I've let these come up to room temperature. This way it doesn't break our batter when we add it in. We're gonna add these one at a time so we can make sure they get incorporated evenly. The last thing we're gonna add is a little vanilla extract. Mix that in. Now we're gonna add some milk and alternate it with our dry ingredients. And mix those together. And this helps to make sure you don't overbeat your batter. When you overbeat your batter, you get a dense, tough cake. And when you're finished, you should get this really silky, thick batter. Ooh, it looks so pretty. Now this is a rainbow cake. It has 6 layers, so we need to make all the colors of the rainbow with this batter. I'm gonna take 6 bowls, and I didn't have all matching 6, so we got that guy. I'm gonna take a cup and divide the batter evenly between all the bowls. Now we'll add some food coloring. The original cake has like this neon rainbow. We did not have the money for neon, so we just kind of have your primary colors here. We're gonna end up making red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Now I have got 6 of these 6-inch cake pans. I'm gonna spray them with a little bit of cooking spray. Then we'll add each of our batter bowls to the pan. And then just pat it down to make it even out and repeat with the other colors. Our cakes are ready to go in the oven. We're gonna bake them at 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes or until you can stick a toothpick in it and nothing comes out. Okay, let's go do it. While the cakes are baking, we're gonna make a vanilla simple syrup. First, we're gonna add some sugar, water, and vanilla extract. We're gonna put this over medium-high heat and bring it to a boil. Once it's at a boil, remove it from the heat and put it in a heat-proof container. We're gonna use this simple syrup later to help moisten our cake and give it more flavor. All right, so we're gonna make a cream cheese frosting. We're gonna get started with a bunch of cream cheese and some butter. This recipe has a lot of butter. Everything that tastes good has a lot of butter. All right, and then we're gonna mix these two together until they're super light and fluffy. That looks great. So now we're gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract. Okay, this next part is gonna seem a little insane, but we are gonna add a ton of powdered sugar to this. We're gonna sift it in. This way we get a nice smooth frosting and not a bunch of clumps. And this is gonna take a while. This is gonna take longer than it is to make the cake. Great. Once you sift that in, we're gonna mix it up. We're just gonna do this in batches. Cheer the sleigh bells ring, 1 ting ting tangle and 2. Yes, she's pretty. I'm gonna go put her in a bag and then we're gonna get our cakes prepped and then we're close to assembly. We're kind of close. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go get our cakes. All right, I got my little babies here and they have been cooling on a cooling rack for about 15 minutes. So now I'm gonna take that simple syrup we made earlier and I'm gonna brush it on the top. This is gonna help keep these cakes moist, especially when you're on a budget. Doing something like this really helps upgrade your cake. So next thing we're gonna do is take our cake and any color except the red and place it on a cutting board. I'm gonna take a 2-inch round cookie cutter and we're gonna place that right in the center of our cake. And you're just gonna press down. And then you lift it up. Sometimes a piece of the cake comes out and that's great. Other times it does not. And there we go, a perfect hole in the center of our cake. You're just gonna repeat this with the remaining colors except for red. Now that all of the holes are out of our cake and we have these holy cakes, we are going to assemble them. I'm just gonna put a little bit of frosting down to make sure that holds my cake. And we're gonna start with purple. And then we'll just add our frosting, just pipe that right in. So then after purple, we're gonna add the blue. All this stuff coming out the sides, that's totally fine because we're gonna use that to make our crumb coat. So to make the crumb coat, I'm just gonna take an offset spatula like this guy, and the crumb coat just needs to be a very thin coat, and it's okay if there's crumbs getting in it, because that's why it's a crumb coat. It's a protective layer you're putting around your cake, so when you do your actual frosting, it's gonna not get crumbs in it. Chris, I'm really scared right now. This cake, because it's so hot in here, like all the frosting is like, can you turn up the AC? It's on max. I'm living in a nightmare. If something looks like it's about to fail, don't freak out. Just keep going. All right, I think this is as good and straight as I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go put it in the freezer so that it can start to solidify and then we can do a real frosting on this. Wish me luck. Okay, I did a really dumb thing. In my haste to get this from not falling over, I did the crumb coat and put on the top before I filled it with sprinkles, which is the most important part. All right, so I'm gonna try to carefully take the top off and then we will fill it. So we're just gonna carefully remove the top of this. Okay, like a little hat. And then I have a bunch of sprinkles here. The sprinkles were the most expensive part of this whole cake. They are very expensive. So I'm gonna spoon this in. Gently, just guide it. Can't believe I forgot this. What a sad explosion cake it would have been. Fill that to the very top. Great. And then we're gonna place our red guy right back on top. Everyone makes mistakes while baking and you just have to keep it together. Try not to cry. So first thing I'm gonna do is just grab frosting and put it all around the cake. All right, so now that we've really covered the cake, we're gonna start to smooth things out here. And this is where you can kind of work out some of those problem areas, you know, those troubled areas, hide it a little bit. Now, I'm in no way a professional baker, so I'm doing the best I can here. All right, I think we're done. The great thing about this cake is it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if you're seeing through it a little bit, because the next thing we're gonna do is cover it in sprinkles. I have a bucket here, and it is gonna catch any excess sprinkles, because this is a very messy part of doing this cake. I'm gonna take some in my hand. Oh my gosh. Okay, I am not good at this.
You're not supposed to go from the top down.
Should I be going from the top down? Both seem difficult. I'm getting better. Look at that. That was better. I did it. I didn't think that I would get to the end of this day, but I did. Okay, I'm gonna go put this on a beautiful pedestal and admire my work and maybe cut a slice for Chris to try. Look at my cake.
Whoa, it's insane looking.
How much do you think it cost me?
I would say at least 100 million.
I'm very proud of myself. It cost only $20 to make. I think
Wow.
it looks very similar to the one we were trying to replicate.
Chars, you drop that.
Oh. Come on. Thank you guys for celebrating Tasty's 5th birthday with us.
Happy birthday! Oh, yes!